Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get this show rocking and rolling. It's not really a show. I'm Bag of Dawn. This is Stock Market Caddy. It is Friday, and I hope you had a great week. We had an awesome week, man. It was good. It was good. Good, good, good. Always feels good. Can't wait for Saturday morning, and we will add it all up. You don't count the money until the dealing's done. No, no, no. Don't count that money. You start counting that money on the table, and the dealing wasn't done. They were coming after gold and silver. We commented the last few days, getting kind of frothy, getting kind of frothy. And what do they say? Bulls make money, bears make money, and piggies get slaughtered. And they are carving them up like bacon today. Anybody chasing gold up there at 55? You can't pick the high, so you just got to get in. You just got to get in. Okay. No, that's what, the Peter Schiffs of the world, which is great. I think the world of Peter Schiff, and I think the world of that. But you go buying the highs, and live by the sword, die by the sword. We got silver, almost 25% off of its highs, kids. It's now in a bear market. It's gone into a bear market overnight. Rather unheard of, but that's why we use stops. That's why we use options. That's why we use swing machine. That money that you see in your account, it's not yours until you do what? Until you realize it. And you start borrowing money. And let's get this tweeted out. You start borrowing money to buy more and start leveraging up, and they will give you a can of whoop ass. And but in any case, let me take a short break. Make sure that we're broadcasting. We are. Not a whole lot of people here. What are they doing? They out there protesting or what? What's going on? Look at these trades. Holy smokes. Just the 5 minute. 11:25, $600. 11:15, 2,500. 11:05, 1,100. 10:15, 1,000. 9:55 in gold. 15 grand, 14.5 to be exact. 740 in silver. 740 this morning. Silver's off on this call. $60,000. 60 grand. Ouch. Ouch. That hurts. That's why we trade. That's why we trade. Any questions, let us know. We're going to let you watch. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy, and you are getting a live view of the market action. Lots of noise today about Trump's expecting to appoint Kevin Warsh. Uh, it is what it is. These markets were primed for any reason to sell. We've been cautioning everyone, and live by the sword, die by the sword. It's why we trade, right? Our members got, let me show you. This is our Nicholas timing model. This is the Dow, this is the Russell, this is the ES, this is the NASDAQ, and this is the VIX. Look at the signal. Short. This is on a daily basis. Get short, get short, get short, get short. And then on the 28th, today's the 29th, the VIX went long. Now, yes, if a person put on a mini contract in each of these, they're up $20,000. However, maybe you used micros. Maybe you used options. We did. We absolutely did. Beautiful thing. Timing. This is nonsense that you cannot time the market. That is lazy thinking by the media. They want you dependent on them. We do it day in, day out, right? It's really important to capture these profits. Look at silver. Silver was going. So wasn't gold. We just said yesterday, real time, just yesterday, the day before, it's getting frothy. Take some profits. Said if you are a long-term investor in gold and silver, you need to take profit. You need to protect those profits, right? We said it. If you are a new investor to gold and silver, you are taking high risk because you're late. Now, there's no obligation. Silver was at 120, 121 just yesterday. It may not see 120, 121 for years. It may not. It may see it in a few weeks. Nobody knows. That's why we trade. Capture the profits. You can't count the money until the dealing's done. Now, if you captured the profits, congratulations. You didn't, you might want to check us out. Everyone, not everyone, but some people say, oh, you're so expensive. It's so expensive, Don. It's $100 a month and $1,200 a year. Okay. How much are you losing today? How much have you lost in opportunity? I don't want to listen to you. I want to do my own thing. All right. We got an annual membership for you. It's a few grand. The more you produce, the less it is. It's just a business expense. We've got 15, 20 years of building these tools. It's just the way it is. I'm a capitalist, right? And in any case, going to be a whole lot of wanging. Now, is this the tippity top? I don't know. Maybe. What does that mean? You ever hear of a bear market? The bull will run you over and the bear will rip your heart out, stomp on it, take a bite out of it, stomp on it some more. Some of the best rallies will happen during bear markets too, by the way. We're not calling it bear market because we're traders. We don't call bull markets. We don't call bear markets. We will say that a market is frothy. We will say that a market is panic selling. But this is very, very bad action on gold and silver today. It just is. It's very, very bad. To take 20, 25% off the top like that with volume, not good. That's why we don't get too caught up in the narratives. Any questions, let us know. We'll let you watch. Now, we just patched in. If you are coming by for the first time, you'll hear me say this during the live view, and you want to get a better idea of who we are, what we're about, what it is we're doing. We'll put a little video link in there for you, and it does ask for your email address. If you give it to us, you'll be automatically on our email list. If you want to unsubscribe from that, no problem. You just let us know, and we'll unsubscribe you. All right? We don't want to bother anyone. Wicked Silver, holy crap, man. I hope people captured this profit. I hope they're using stops. Mm, 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 mm. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy. We got ourselves a really nice sell-off, and they had taking the cream. They had taken the cream off the Guinness Stout off of gold and silver. Big time reversal off of the highs. Silver goes from a raging bull market to a bear market virtually overnight. That's what maybe a hawkish, I don't know, moderate appointment to the Federal Reserve. Um, why it's so important to understand entries matter, exits matter. The money is not yours until you realize it. This is what we do as traders. This is what we teach. This may look easy, you know. Oh, yeah, it's a bull market, it's a bear market. It is easy when you know and understand how the game is played. Don't like the game? Don't play the game. But we're here if you want to learn to play the game and you want these tools on your desktop so that you can set your own alerts, set your own stops, and manage at least a portion of your portfolio. But I can't do it for you. I don't. I'm not a broker. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not making any claims. Not suggesting that everyone do this. It takes time, and you can lose a lot of money, a lot of opportunity, really fast, because there are grown men and women in Chicago, in New York, in Singapore, in Monte Carlo, and in beautiful Tampa, Florida, trying to feed their families too. Yeah? It's not a game you can win. Good morning, or good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about that. Just had to take a quick phone call. And as they say, the song goes, the gambler, and we're not gamblers, right? I'm not a gambler, but the old Kenny Rogers, I think it was Kenny Rogers, right? He said, don't count the money until the dealing's done. Until you actually realize the profits in these accounts, it's not yours, right? It belongs to the market. And so it's always better, in our view, to buy when nobody else wants to buy. And I'm not talking about on a minute basis, but for investors, it's always better to buy silver when no one wanted to buy it, when it was down below 25. But when silver goes up to 90 and 100 and 120 and everybody wants it, it's a good time to, and gold, it's a good time to take some profits. There's an old saying, bulls make money, bears make money, little piggies will get slaughtered, right? So the other part of it is, if a person didn't buy gold or silver back a few years ago, and they just bought it last week because they heard that it was going up on CNBC, or they saw a podcast from Peter Schiff on Saturday and they poured their IRA money in there. Well, now it's rigged. It's rigged. No, it isn't rigged. It isn't rigged. It just took out the weak hands, took out the lazy money, and that's what markets do. Now, nobody knows. Now, you're looking at this on an intraday basis, right? Including us. Let me show you what I mean by this. This is a signal on the Dow, the Russell, the ES, the NASDAQ, and the VIX. This is an algorithmic signal that we have been using for years. It's on a daily basis. It tells us when we need to be short the market, and this is a contrarian indicator on the VIX. This signal came through on the 27th and the 28th, just yesterday. Now, if you had taken the signal, yes, you're up 21 grand. If you used micros, maybe 2100. However, if you use options, you might even be up for more. If you had been a subscriber and you saw the signal, maybe you don't trade it, maybe you use it to get out of some other frothy positions, or you suspend your dollar cost averaging. You make some decisions and you take some execution. I do not know where this is going. I never do. The signal is based upon the underlying data of each market. It is based upon the VIX, and it is based upon the yield on the 10-year Treasury. It's entirely possible 3 weeks from now, we're still short. And this could be up $200,000, $300,000. And you can say, I should have, I could have, I would have, I should have, I would have, This is, once you decide to take control over your own portfolios and or a portion of money, you need to be able to be prepared to work it and learn to use the tools. But we never know. And this may dissipate in a few days and turn right around and give us a long signal. It's possible that you would all go long and the VIX would go short. As an example, just as an example, of course, we're looking at the intraday action. And I can show you now. So let me show you gold, for instance. On a daily basis, if you had gone long gold 110 days ago, you're up 133,000. Oh, what's the big deal? Well, on a 1 minute basis, if you didn't hedge it, if you didn't take some profits, you've just lost $24,000 in profits because it had been up maybe 150, 160. You see how that works? Let's go to silver. is the daily. Now, the daily, 175 days ago, yes, on a futures contract, you're up 248. That's a high-class problem. But on a 1 minute, from just 10:48 this morning, you've lost $70,000 in profits. So you have to, when you go in, when you put your money into these markets, you've got to lay out a plan. When you go to wherever you go to, you're going to go to the Tampa Bay Bucks game, you're going to decide how you're going to get there. And then maybe once you're in the game, I'm the son of a traffic cop, you can decide how you're going to get out of there. Maybe you don't go out the same way that you came in, but you better plan. Or maybe you get jammed up in a traffic jam trying to get out. That's what markets do. See, it's better to deal with it before, but you stay for the very last minute. Well, you're going to get what you get. You're going to get whacked eventually. That's what we do. So it is true. We don't try to get the very, very high. We don't try to get the very, very low. We just play for the middle, day in, day out. That's what others, you're competing with, we'll put the silver back to a 5 minute. Now, you can get the machinery to do this. You absolutely can, but you need to learn. You need somebody to teach you. If you can find somebody, bag it on. Now, everybody's got a podcast. Everybody will tell you, buy Bitcoin, at 127,000 a coin. Oh, buy gold, 5,055, buy it. Everybody can do that. Anybody can do that. But how many of those people are going to teach you to do what we do day in and day out? Not too many, kids. And how many are going to teach you one-on-one for 3+ weeks? Like nobody. Nobody that I see. Now, you can go into, I won't mention the name of a company. There's a company that's in every major city. And, you can sit in a classroom of 30, 40 people, and they'll charge you, 5 times the cost of what what we will do 3+ weeks. In addition, as an annual member of Stock Market Academy, you're going to get these tools on your desktop. Instantly. Boom. I'm going to teach you how to work them. It's really remarkable. I think I need to raise the price. I won't do that to you. Yes, we make it look easy. It is easy to us, right? We've had a fantastic week. Fantastic week. Some weeks are better than others. All right, kids. Any questions, let us know. I'm here. Let me take a peek. What do we got going on here? Hey, eBay. This is what we do. But everyone would rather, bet on the football game, Smoke a big fat blunt, lay on the couch, eat some sliders, and hope they beat the spread. Okay, good luck. Have fun. That's a nice way to spend an afternoon. I would rather make real money day in, day out, and while everyone else is on the couch watching those jabronis throw a football around, I'll be out playing golf or fly fishing or, doing something with Susie. Each their own. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Baggett on at Stock Market Caddy, and we have a very significant day happening here at the very end of January. Anybody got any questions about what it is you're seeing or what it is you're doing? Please don't hesitate. Um, what live by the sword, die by the sword. Gold and silver is getting taken out to the woodshed and getting a spanking. And when it does, this is very bad action. When you come off the top like this, 20, 30% in volume just coming off. We just go from an overnight, bull market. We're not an overnight bull market, but kind of a blow off top, and now we just reverse it. Same thing with gold. So you've got to do some, would have been better. Would have been better. We were saying it the last couple of days. Markets frothy. Markets frothy. A lot of markets, and it's always easier to take profits when the markets are frothy, right? But there's also that fear of missing out, but you don't want to sell when you have to sell either. And if you go in late into a frothy market and you over leverage, then you really get a spanking and you got no choice but to come out. So we have anybody who was chasing why it's not good to chasing gold and silver in particular, or even chasing the Nasdaq. They're getting hurt. When you're ready to learn to trade day in and day out, if there's something you want to do, we're here and ready for you. We wish everyone the best. Any questions, let us know. Pretty big day here. Lots of damage being done. And anybody got any questions about who we are, what we're about, what the markets are doing, what your positions are doing? You want us to plug anything in? Let me know. We're seeing the VIX is relatively calm, right? Relatively calm, but the markets are reacting to what is perceived to be a more moderate Fed chairman replacement, and maybe they were hoping for somebody more liberal, but really remarkable. Um, Anybody who went into gold and silver up at the highs is getting crushed. Anybody, just as anybody who went into Bitcoin up at the highs is getting crushed. We don't buy highs. We don't. Um, and for that matter, we're not even when we're trading intraday. We're just trading the middle, right? Nobody can pick the very high. Nobody can pick the very low. But they are bringing this thing all the way back. There are billions of dollars being wiped out. I hope everyone is in one piece and that you've been learning to trim. Any questions, let us know. Huge trades. Silver on a 5 minute at 7:40 this morning. 7:40. Sell silver. Saved yourself 25%. You saved yourself. If you took the trade, you're up 130 grand. Gold 955.33. It is what it is. It isn't necessary for us to timestamp anything. You can see it real time. 11:15, 5 grand. Are we short this market? Yes, absolutely we are. Take a look at this. This is a daily signal. Remember we showed you this earlier. This is a daily signal. Our members, our monthly members, $99 a month, $99 a month. That's way too expensive, Bagger. Way too expensive. Well, how expensive is this when they get to see their portfolios come Sunday night or Monday or Tuesday? Um, Sell, get out. Short, long VIX. If you took the trade, you're up 26 grand. If you did options, you could be up. Even if you didn't take the trade and you took precautions, you wouldn't be experiencing some of this. Are we short? Yeah, we absolutely are. Absolutely are. Yep, that's what we do. We don't manage your money. Can't do it. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial advisor. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to do it. Right? No broker or financial advisor probably does, quite frankly. It can be very time consuming, very attentive. So if you have a passion, you have an interest, and you want to take control over this part of your life, feel free. We will spend 3+ weeks with you, one-on-one. One-on-one. When you finish, you get a decision to make. Become an annual member, you get, at last count, 70 and growing proprietary tools on your desktop. Good luck, everybody. We'll be here. Any questions, let us know. Okay, folks. So we're just making some adjustments. Really remarkable, remarkable. Silver, silver has virtually been cut in almost in half. Can they do it again? Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. They absolutely can. Good afternoon, everyone, and we are watching with you, and we are short these markets, and in large part, why? Because one of our mainstay algorithms told us back on the 27th. Today is the 30th, right? 30th on Tuesday. On Tuesday, it was actually on Monday, Sunday, and Monday. We got a warning. We got a warning. All of our members, all of our monthly members, certainly our annual members, got a warning. We pointed that out to everybody. And then on the 28th, which was just Wednesday, said, "Yep, that's it. That's it. We're likely headed down." So at that point, traders know what to do. If you've been through the Q school, investors might want to take some precaution. Again, if you know what to do, right? You want to be diversified in what you can do. If you had traded this, yes, and you did it with futures contracts, yes, you'd be up 25 grand. If you had done it with micros, you'd be up less. If you didn't even use this to trade, I mean, you could have used options, but you used it to protect your portfolio, you would have that much more money today. Value, right? Value. And we are headed down hard. Silver's gone from a bull market to a bear market literally overnight. Little unheard of, but commodities can do that sort of thing. What other commodities? Nasdaq is a commodity. All of these markets are commodity. I'll hear that. Commodities. The markets have been commoditized. They have been commoditized. Everyone is in them because there's been no other place to put your money. And, something's going up, so I'll buy it. 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 And then when the rug pull comes, especially in today's world, it can happen in moments. That's why, we teach, protecting, preservation of capital, the use of stops, the use of options, and protect, because there's no. Now people may say, well, we're going down because of this, we're going down because of that. Well, we don't buy things on narratives, right? We don't. So we don't sell on narratives either. It is what it is. Real time. Real time. So if you've got any questions about who we are, what we're about, please don't hesitate. I'm not a broker. I'm not a financial advisor, right? I'm not from Wall Street. I'm not. Proud of that. There's nobody more cynical than me of Wall Street in Madison Avenue. It's one and the same. For 25 years of my life, I taught surgeons how to do surgery. Go figure. I didn't even have a biology class. Well, I did, well, kinda and kinda not, back in high school. But that's another story. In the early 2000s, and we've been doing this now, if somehow, some way you've just stumbled across this, that's no small miracle, because we've been doing this not for 6 months, not for 6 years. My wife Susan and I, in the early 2000s, made a decision about the markets. What a crock of shit this is, Susie. We had done very well. But I got to a place where I was like, this is crazy. I know all the stories, Creature from Jekyll Island, printing dollars and devaluation and bop, 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 bop. And so Susan turned to me and said, well, Don, we've done really well. I mean, what the hell are we going to do? And I said, well, Susie, we now have the technology available. We now have it available. We now have high-speed internet. We now have, very low cost. And we're going to learn to trade, Susan, and we're going to do so algorithmically. We're going to use mathematical formulas. Well, and Susie, I'm going to rely on you in a big way, because you know why? Your SAT scores were huge, much smart. I am smart. I married up. Very, very smart girl, young lady. And she was working at the time, Susan was working for IBM. By the way, IBM, and back in the day, back when IBM was IBM, IBM was the Google of the day. And I interviewed for IBM, they didn't hire me. And so when Susan went for the interview, I said, oh, well, good luck. Good luck. I mean, I hope you get it, but I mean, they didn't hire me. They hired Susan. It was a beautiful thing. I found out later why that was, because she got a letter from IBM and said, hey, by the way, we gave you an IQ test. I was like, oh, really? Yeah, during the interview process. And she scored so high, they said, we're proud of you, and you should be proud, and you can join the Mensa Society. So that's Susie's nickname, Mensa. She reminds me of it all the time. So I didn't get to go to work for IBM, but Susan did, and she learned how to program. Very, very smart. So when we set out to do this algorithmic trading in the early 2000s, I had the trading experience, but Susie had the math background. She had the programming skills, and we set out at that time. Please understand, we did not set out to build StockMarketCaddy.com. No, nope, nope, nope. We were out to get away from the boutique brokers and brokers. I had had enough. I had had my fill of them. And, I had a friend, it was a neighbor, and he worked for a hedge fund in New York out of Florida, and he would fly to Manhattan every week. And he told me the story about how he met Rush Limbaugh. And Rush got to be talking with him and then got to know what he was doing. And Rush, said, he never really gave his money to anyone to really manage. He did it himself because he said, why would I do that? I made all this money. Why would I give it to somebody else who doesn't make nearly as much as me to manage, which I always kind of found kind of interesting. So we set out to take control over this part of our life, and to do so using the latest technology of the day back in the early 2000s. So we've been doing this a long time, and building tools and building what we call decision-making trading software. Stock Market Caddy, the business of Stock Market Caddy, didn't come about until 2012, when really Susie and I were watching a movie, and it was Bag of Ants. And there's a scene in Bag of Ants where the trader, on a day like today, his golf ball has gone into the woods, and he's trembling and shaking in fear, and you don't know. You can hear gunshots going off if you've seen the movie, and you don't know is he going to cut and run? What's he going to do? And I stopped the movie and I said, "Geez, Susie, we're in such a great place now. I wonder if there are other people out there that are in these markets that are kind of lost in the woods, don't really understand how the game is played, and are fearful or greedy." And it says, okay, Don, but we're watching a movie. And I said, well, I got this idea. Maybe we could help teach them and share our tools with them. I think I'd call it Stock Market Caddy. StockMarketCaddy.com has kind of a ring to it. Oh, okay, Don. Will you do me a favor, Donnie? Will you write it down on a napkin, and let's get back to the movie and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. So on Saturday morning, I brought it back up after watching the movie, and I talked to Susie about it. She's like, yeah, I remember. Yeah. Okay, Donnie, I don't have a problem if you do it. And now Susan's trading as well. She said, but this is, going to be your baby. And she goes, I just have a couple of concerns. And I'm just like, okay, what's that? And she goes, well, if you spend all this time on StockMarketCaddy.com, and you start building this thing, I don't want it to take away from our own trading. I'm like, okay, I promise you that it won't. Okay. If it does, Don, you're not going to be able to do it. Okay. And then, being the business person, she said, the other concern I have, Don, is we're going to do all this, but if it's not operating in the black inside of 6 months, certainly in a year, then I don't want us to do it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It'll be operating in the black. And it was operating in the black very, very quickly, to my surprise, right? And And that's where it came about. And the business of Stock Market Caddy, and it is a business, it's a mentoring business, has grown and grown and grown. Now, we'll never have thousands of followers and thousands of members. We know that, right? We never wanted that. But we wanted to teach folks how to take control over this part of their life and to learn to trade their own game and to be able to teach them the lessons that we have learned and to provide them the tools. That's kind of where it came from and where we are today. So, if you have an interest as you pass by and you want to do what we've done, what our members have done, be sure to visit. I'll be in the office. I look forward to Saturday mornings. I'm in the office every Saturday morning up until about noon. It's a real good chance to kind of reflect back on the week and gear up for the following week. And it's going to be, the volatility is going to be here in spades now. It really is. And so don't hesitate. So I don't know what else I can share with you other than to say um, it won't happen by itself. You have to take action, like with everything in life, right? And we're here to help. And so you can call me any day. It can be a Saturday, it can be a Sunday, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 813-758-8263. I wish everyone the best. We're going to be here. We're going to let you watch. And I think it's just the start of something fairly significant here. But we're not here to pick tops and pick bottoms and provide you a narrative and storytelling. By the way, we trade not just futures. We trade stocks. We trade options. We sell covered calls. We sell covered puts. We do spreads. We're diversified in what we can do. And if you want to learn that, feel free to reach out. All right, we're ready when you are. And one of the things that happened, though, that back to stockmarketcaddy.com, one of the things that neither Susan anticipated nor me was we thought all the information was going to be flowing out, and that wasn't the case. As our membership grew and we got to meet other people doing this to the extent that we are, the information started to flow back. And we got to learn as much as we were giving. And we try to share that with everybody. And that was something that we didn't anticipate. And it's made us better. It's made Susan and I better traders, better investors. It has made Stock Market Caddy better for the good. So just a little bit about who we are and who we are not. All right. So, and I will arm wrestle you for the right. I am the most ignorant person in the markets today. Most ignorant. I don't know nothing about nothing. I will arm wrestle you for that right. The people you subscribe to are much, much smarter than me. They got degrees from wherever they got them, right? From Yale, from Harvard, from Wharton. They're brilliant. They know, they can tell you why the market's doing this and why it's doing that. And I don't know why at all. I have no idea. I just rely on our algorithms. And you see, because my job, the job of our members, is to extract cash flow from the money flow. So I'm not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't even want to be. I don't even want to have an opinion, because then I got to arm wrestle with myself, and that's no fun. I just track the money flow and extract cash flow, and at the moment, the cash is in these things called dollars, and we take the dollars and we go do stuff with it. Any questions about who we are? Don't hesitate. We'll let you watch. Have fun. We'll be here. Comes a little bit of a market bounce. Now, are these just trailing stops from those that got short? Probably, probably. Do we resume back down later today? Maybe, maybe. And we trade the money flow, extracting cash flow from the money flow. That's what it is. And we provide liquidity. If you didn't have market participants doing what we were doing, you wouldn't have any market. You would just have bubbles and crashes. Bubbles and crashes. That's all you would have. Any question who we are, what we're about, don't hesitate. Good afternoon, everyone. It is January 30th at about 3 p.m. on a Friday. How are we going to finish? Let's go take a look at swing. Let's see. 5 minute. ES tried to go long underwater a little bit. See, one thing about a machine is the machine might and will get trades wrong, but it just won't stay wrong for long. Easy for me to say, right? NQ 1115, so it's off of its high on the short signal. What are they doing with the gold? The gold is down 431, 10% haircut one day. I mean, it was going up and up and up, not terribly unexpected. Silver, pretty healthy reversal today. It's 30 points. 30? Let's see. Entry price was 101. Yeah, it's down. It's down 16. Well, this one here, it's actually up if you shorted it. So it took a 16% haircut since 740. However, the all-time high on it was 121 just the other day. So that's like about 35-40% haircut in like 2 days. So that's probably it for the silver momentum traders at this juncture. Now, can you get vicious rallies? Absolutely. Can we machine trade it? Yes, but we'll machine trade it long and short, short and long. For an investment standpoint, it's still intact on a daily, but you got to appreciate that the entry price was 35.12, which is pulled back now to 85. Hasn't even registered a dip yet. And, see, on a daily basis, see, silver was up in here, was up in euphoria. And that's why we were telling folks, the last few days, even if you are an investor, even if you got it, you really got the prudent thing is to take some profits. Because if you don't take them, the market will take them. That's all. And there's no guarantee now on a daily basis that she's going to go back up into euphoria. It would be unlikely that it does it anytime soon. Now in the fall, maybe later this year, maybe not. Maybe not. It might go down into panic sell and get down around 40, 41, 42, and it still would be a nice appreciation, but it would sting if you were in it around here and you took it all the way back. If you were in it at 35 and you took it all the way up to 121 and you take it all the way back to 40, that's going to feel like shit, So you don't want to do that. And the market players know this. The machines are programmed to know this, right? They absolutely are. We got programs to exploit the markets. And if you don't have a disciplined approach, and whatever it is you're trading, whether it be silver or gold or the NASDAQ or whatever the stock, AMD, Intel, Apple, anything, if you don't have a disciplined approach, and that leaves you trading what pilots call flying by your inner ear. By your instincts, by the seat of your pants. And if you lose sight of the horizon, if you lose sight, and, you just, they can take it away from you really, really fast. So this is almost a 40% haircut in a couple of days. Could they do that to the NASDAQ? Could they take the NASDAQ down to 15,000 in a week or two? Absolutely they could. Could they take it down 70 to 80%? Could they take it down to 5,000? Yeah, they could. Could they take the S&P from up here near 7,000 down to 2,000, down to 1,500? Yeah, they could. Take it all away. Yep, they absolutely could. And if you don't like that, well, then there are these things called certificates of deposit. And you'll get your 3 or 4% from the bank, and you'll get your money back, but it won't buy anything because the inflation rate The published inflation rate is what, 3%, but the reality of it is the inflation rate is more like 10, 15, 20% on some of this crap, right? From insurance, home insurance to health insurance to foodstuffs and everything else. So the inflation rate is much higher. And so if you have a bundle of cash and you're not, and you're not capturing any return, then you're losing ground, right? And the way the government rationalizes it, they're like, well, we're just trying to help with employment. That's what they say. We want a stable dollar. We want an inflation rate of 2 or 3%, and the kids at home are like, yay, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, 2 to 3%. Devaluing their dollars a little bit every year, every day. And guess what it is? It's really good for employment because they got to keep working. If they want all these toys and they want all this and that and that and this and this and that, that's all they want. And they want to send their kids to, the private elite schools, and then they're going to have to keep working till they're 90 because they're not going to make enough. As fast as they make it, inflation can eat it away. Eat it away. But Don, I bought gold and I bought silver. Yeah, but you bought it at the highs. You didn't buy it at the lows, right? You got to buy things at the lows and ride them up, pull them back, that sort of thing. It's called trading. Have we worked hard at this? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now I did the investing thing, did very well, did for a whole bunch of years, right? So I'm a boomer. Well, I don't want to talk to no boomer. What the hell does he know? I'm buying crypto. He don't know shit about crypto. I don't know shit about nothing. I don't want to know shit. But when it comes to trading the markets and extracting cash flow from the money flow, we've been doing this a while. So if you want to know what we know, you can join Stock Market Caddy at $100 a month. Probably would have saved you a few bucks today. If you want to know what we know, plus you want these tools on your desktop, so you don't have to listen to me or anyone, just do your own thing. Well, we can do that too. But you have to become an annual member. But before you do that, you got to go through something called a Q School. Why? Because you got to learn. And it slows it down, Don. You would have a lot more members if you didn't do that. Yep, we would. But we're deliberately slowing the process down. Because you do need to learn. More valuable than any singular tool. It's the education. But you can believe what you want to believe. You can do what you want to do. Not a problem. Play your game. And we'll play ours. Our members will play theirs. And we got a whole bunch of members that, if I told you what they did this week, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. I heard from them. They were calling today. They're long one moment, they're short the next. They get the game. It's remarkable. You would think we would have thousands and thousands of members, but you wouldn't, because see, we emphasize the education, and most people really don't want to. Just give me a stock pick. So it is what it is. Ring out, call anytime, visit the site, let us know what we can do. Want me to plug anything in? We're going to let you watch the close. It was a pretty interesting day, and interesting week. It was a great week. The volatility is going to be here in spades. And I think we got a midterm election, in the fall. So I think the summer is going to be a really hot summer. I think it's going to be a busy spring. I think it's going to be a busy summer, busy fall. The volatility is here. And if you don't like the volatility, then, you got mutual funds and certificates of deposit and things of that sort. But if you like the volatility and you got a passion and you got some risk capital and you got a discipline and you got patience and you got a desire to learn, well, then we're ready when you are. Just know the monthly memberships are unlimited. Anybody can join at any time. We have very, very high retention, and we thank you. We got a whole bunch of new folks at the monthly level. We have folks that are in the Q schools. The Q schools, the annual memberships are limited every year, and we will only do so many every year. For the past 5 years, we've stopped right around November, and then we resume, which is what we've done this year, and we're on a great pace. Reach out anytime, folks. We're here. We'll let you enjoy the close.
Order filled.
Okay, folks, that is it. The futures will remain open until about 4:15, and then between 4:30 and 5, they'll square away their books, and then we come back next week and do it all over again. I'm Bagger Don. This is Stock Market Caddy. I hope you had a great week. It was a phenomenal week. Absolutely phenomenal. Thanks for checking in. Have a great weekend, and let us know if we can help you.